going on, guys? I'm going to spend this time to go over some of my top passive income projects along with yield farming and the DeFi space. I haven't done a video here for about a week, and one of the reasons for that is I've been doing a lot of research in this area. Yield farming has just exploded with a lot of opportunities, a lot of projects. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to understand, and there's also been a few scams along the way with that opportunity. So with the passive income projects that I'm in, I'm starting to get to a point where I'm making nearly $100 a day in two right now, and I'm going to start basically kind of building those up and compounding into a few others and trying to find top 5 projects that I can make consistently $100 a day in. And so I wanted to kind of go over some of those. So I've been in PowerMine from the very beginning, and that's one that has been very good in terms of all the different projects and offerings that they've had. That one, for people that are getting new, that are new into it, the opportunity might not necessarily be in PowerMine or the IOST ecosystem itself, but more in the Grow ecosystem, because they're going to be expanding into Ethereum. So if you're somebody that hasn't been in PowerMine and maybe you feel as though you missed the boat a little bit on that one, the opportunity right now is in Grow. And so for me personally, I'm starting to just build up my Grow tokens because of all of the different protocols and things that they're going to be implementing with the DeFi space. That is where they're going with that, and there's a lot of opportunity with that. But with PowerMine, my holdings have gone up dramatically over the last 6 months. It's been absolutely amazing. And it's also giving me about $100 a day in passive income based on the investment that I put in a long time ago. So I mean, I put in, I want to say less than $10,000 to reach that point where everything has kind of built up. Now it's probably, my holdings at one point were worth over 100K that I had in PowerMine, just from the appreciation of everything. Now that's not necessarily money that you can pull out right away. It's locked up in smart contracts, the way the Uniswap style decks that they have on IOST works. That's not really something where it's I could just pull all of that money out in in one big move if I wanted to, but you're not locked in. So I mean, the strategy is, if you really wanted to get out, that you would need to do it slowly over time because of slippage and with the way all of that works. But I'm going to be compounding. IOST is down right now. The price is down quite a bit. So a lot of what I've been earning in that platform, I'm building up into some of the other projects. They have iGoose, they have iChips, they have Epic, iMatch. I'm in all of those, and they're all they're all producing passive income. Probably not as much as they were at one point. I mean, at one point, Chips was making me about $1,000 a day for about 3 days, and it kind of died off. But so there's a lot of opportunity in that. But if you're looking for a passive income project that's in that ecosystem, I think Grow has a lot more opportunity. The other one that I've been getting into a lot, I've actually been doing this a lot over the last 3 or 4 days, is Tron Chain. And I'm nearly at a point where I'm making $100 a day in Tron Chain. Tron Chain has a lot of opportunity right now, and I wanted to kind of show that a little bit. This is the graph, and this is one of the things that I keep showing. This is a smart contract. It most likely will have a lifespan, is the way that I'm looking at it, but it is looking very, very healthy right now. So if you're familiar with Etherchain, this was Etherchain, which basically ended yesterday. And one of the big reasons for that was the high gas fees, and it was just impossible to transact. I covered this a little bit in some of my previous videos, and I was saying that was pretty high risk. I only put in, I think, $30 or something like that, and I wasn't able to pull out. The gas fees were more than the money that I was trying to pull out. So that one wasn't very good. You don't have those problems on Tron Chain. So I feel as though Tron Chain could really do well over time, especially since You have all of these international communities that are starting to get into this project. The Indonesians particularly have really started to grasp this concept and have gotten in pretty heavily into Tron Chain. And our group, that's been coordinated with 3 people right now. It's Black Sheep's group, but also with Money Mike. Between the 3 of us, we came up with a strategy that we were going to have a 10K minimum and to get into Tron Chain, and you had to set up 14 sub accounts. And so we have this chain, and what's great about that is you have the ability to earn on all of the people that are in the chain. And it's been, I think, Mike is the one that's doing all the spreadsheets, and it's been, anywhere from like 3 to 6% per day, because you're earning 1% per day in the contract based on your holdings. And then you're also earning based on other people withdrawing. And when other people withdraw, that snowballs a little bit into the chain, and you get a lot more earnings based on that. So I don't know if I can show here a little bit. There's like, this is just to give you an example. Like this is the Tron chain that we have, and so you can see like all of these different people that are in the chain that have set up all of these sub accounts, and it just keeps going and going. And so you're able to ROI in about a month, and that's really good, especially when you're looking at the growth of this contract. And I feel though it's a very, very safe investment, like right now, if you were to get in right now, because of just the way everything is progressing. And so you're seeing a lot of people that are taking advantage of this opportunity, that have gotten into Black Sheep's group, and we've kind of built this community where we're building out this chain. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to to reach out to me if you want to get into the chain. I'm going to do an update, like a private video. I don't necessarily want like the entire Tron chain knowing our strategy, because this is one that could potentially be draining for the contract. Like because it's, the contract itself is probably not all that sustainable. I mean, the way it works, I mean, it's essentially zero sum, but you have to put in more money in order to pull out money. And so based on that, it does have some some life to it. And I know the lead developer, I've reached out to him, the CEO of the project, and they have a lot of plans to build on top of this ecosystem to have some different ways to bring money into the system. And so that's why I feel like this will last quite some time. Like the Ethereum one just was dead from the get-go, just because of all of the the gas fees. You can't, it's like, it's going to cost you as much money in gas as it is to deposit in the contract. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But with Tron, you're looking at like, with our group and the way we've done it, it's a 10K minimum. You can put in more, and you get more priority if you put in more, but you have to have 14 sub accounts. You do 100 Tron in each of your sub accounts. And what that does is it unlocks all of these levels underneath you. So let me show you. You can click on the guide in Tron Chain, and you have this graph. So for the person right underneath you, you're getting 30% of what they withdraw. So if they have 10,000 in and they withdraw 100 Tron, and you're right above them, you're going to get 30% of that. And then the person above them would get 10%, and so on and so forth. And it goes up the chain. And when those people withdraw, you're earning on those withdrawals. So it has that snowball effect. And so that's why, like, I've gotten into the chain like 7 times right now. And I'm probably getting a few more times. But it's earning me, roughly about 3,000 Tron. I need to get it to about 3,600 Tron a day to make $100 a day. So that's 2 projects I'm making $100 a day in that are going really well. Now, like I was saying, Tron Chain most likely will follow what we've seen with Etherchain, over time. But it could have some serious legs, and it may drop fast, towards the later part of the contract. But right now, it's going up exponentially. Like the curves, like especially these recent curves, You know, it started off slow, but it's going up faster and faster. And and there's almost more. Like if you look at the money that's in this contract, there's nearly 7 million in the Tron Chain contract. So it's about what we saw in Etherchain. So those two are really good. You can also just get in, you know, if you just want to get in with, you know, a smaller amount and you have the 1%, you know, per day. You know, you have that as well until you reach the 310 max, and at that point you need to invest again. So, and then now I'm looking at, you know, a bunch of other projects that I want to build up to $100 a day. So there's been a lot that I've been in that are looking pretty good, and I'm kind of, you know, putting some of those I'm putting some of those into my list of the projects that I feel would be good bets at this point. Like, I know a lot of people are making really good money in T2X, and I have a little bit in T2X if you're looking at Tron, but I don't. One of the things I kind of said about T2X is the tokenomics after the first year. I mean, they keep printing tokens essentially, kind of the way it works. So it may kind of dilute, you know, over time. But right now, there's been a lot of people getting into that project, and it's doing really well. I think I'm going to wait on that one. Like, I mean, I'm a little bit hesitant to put in that. I feel if I have some Tron and I want to get into a passive income project, I think Tron Chain is better at this point right now. T2X, we'll see what happens after a week, because it kind of like it basically kind of pumped right now, and there's a lot going into that contract, but that may come back down after a little while. And you know, the other two projects that I think are worthy of noting, probably not my, you know, in my top 5 or anything, or it's going to be the DLive BTT staking, as well as the Tron Forsage Matrix project. So Tron, I mean, the Tron Forsage, it's you know, it's a clone of Forsage on Tron, and it does have, you know, it's a forever contract as long as the Tron blockchain's around. So that one is, you know, it has a low entry point to get into and can do well over time, especially if you're not looking to build networks or build teams. The X4, because there's the X3 and the X4, the X4 might be the one that you know, you may want to look to get into. Ethereum, there's a few projects. You know, I think Hex saw a recent pump with a Uni token, you know, free token dispersal. That was amazing. So that was really cool. Like for people that interacted with the Uniswap contract, no one saw that coming. But I mean, that's a significant amount of money. I mean, I still haven't gotten my stimulus check from the U.S. I don't know if I'll ever get it. Like it's a total shit show with anything with the government. But I've been waiting for my stimulus check since April, and I never received anything. They keeps getting lost in the mail or whatever. They just keep giving me some crazy story. This has been like double, you know, what my stimulus check, you know, would have been. So that was really cool. But I think the Uni token and some of the different things that they have planned in the future has a lot of potential. So I'm holding at this point. I think that there's some yield farming and some other projects that could have a lot of potential with that. And so I've been looking into that, and there's a lot of yield farming projects on Ethereum. That's probably where you see just, you know, all of this money that's flowing into the DeFi space. And so I'm going to show a little bit of that. I've linked a couple of resources below. I have so this is DeFi Pulse, and so I mentioned this on my last stream. Just this run up, you know, we had about 1 billion in the DeFi locked in different lending programs, and you know, we've seen it come all the way up to well, this is actually this is lending. So if we go to all, let's switch this to all. This will give us the total in the DeFi space. So it was like, you know, 13 billion at one point. It's been a little bit volatile here in September, but this run up from basically about 1 billion in June, July, over the last 2 months, we're at 10x, and 10x the the project. You can see the dominance of Uniswap there, and all of the different things. So this is a good resource to kind of give you an idea of some of the different things that are going on Ethereum, and there's a lot. There's a lot. If you're looking to get into some of the yield farming, you can get into the lending, and you can kind of get some of these different rates, and some of these have been doing pretty well. There's a lot of articles that I've been looking at. This is a Yield Farmer Substack. This is another good resource to look at some different articles, different things that are going on. So I've linked that in the description below. This was an interesting article by Cointelegraph that kind of gives you a basic overview, some basics of the yield farming space, and to give you an idea of where some of the opportunity is with these. These are some passive income projects that have opportunity. Probably not as high paying or as high risk as some of these other projects, some of these other passive income projects, and that's why they're a little bit more appealing to the mainstream market. A lot of the institutional investors that are looking to lock up into some of these liquidity pools that are performing really, really well. I think the Zapper Finance, this is another one that is another great resource to give you an idea of some of the different things that are out there. Let me pull this up for you guys. Zapper.fi. And so with this one, you can look at, you can go into invest. So if you click on invest at the top, and you can just search by ROI. So you can see some of the different liquidity pools, some of the better paying ones. I mean, these are 250, 200, 100% in 1 month. Some of the net ROIs, they are, highly volatile. So, but most of them are volatile into the green. Let's see if we can switch this. You can see that some of them, aren't doing, as well, but it's not necessarily catastrophic. So it's, I'm going to be getting more into the DeFi pools. I was really bullish on jackpool.finance because I kind of wanted to look at some different projects that weren't on Ethereum, and Jackpool was one that looks really interesting. And some people have basically been turned off by it a little bit because the returns aren't as good. But you're still looking 200% APR, 276, 352. The JFI token's gone down quite a bit, so you have to take that into consideration. I bought some JFI tokens. It's continuing to kind of go down, and so a lot of people are a little bit skeptical on that one. And then the other one that's on Tron, I don't know a whole lot about this one, but this was Pearl.finance. These are two that are on Tron, and and then interacting with some of these, and you can pick them up pretty easily on SushiSwap, which works a lot like Uniswap. So the decentralized exchanges, you have Uniswap, Mooniswap, SushiSwap, 1inch, which is a really interesting one. Kyber network is another decentralized exchange. It's not necessarily set up the same way as some of the Uniswap style projects. And then I've listed a bunch of exchanges, my top 5 exchanges for picking up DeFi tokens. I think there's a little bit of a strategy that you can look at with simply just getting into the DeFi tokens or the yield farming projects. I think there's opportunity in both. When I did my last update stream, I've been working on a spreadsheet on all of the different DeFi tokens, and I gave my top 5. So I didn't put that in the description here, but I'll link that after the stream, and I'll put that in the description so you guys can check out that video where I went over my top 5 DeFi tokens. And I'm still pretty bullish on those 5. I think there's some other ones that have come up recently. I mean, the space just changes so much. So I haven't been doing videos as often, but I do want to get a little bit more back into doing videos on a regular basis. I'm trying to set up my office so I can kind of set up a scheduled live streams and do that in a way, because otherwise I got to come out here on my balcony here at where I'm staying at to get a good Wi-Fi signal so I can do that. So I want to do some more up-to-date updates on these projects because everything's changing so fast. But I think one of the strategies that I'm really looking at is you can get into some of these passive income projects that are earning money and then you have some capital to work with to try out some of these different yield farming and DeFi tokens. If you don't have significant capital to work with, it's probably better to get into just buying the DeFi tokens, because the yield farming ones, you need a fairly significant amount of capital to get into these projects and make some decent money. And I'm looking into several that are up and coming, and I've had a couple of people have reached out to me and bringing a couple of projects my way that look interesting. So my last video I did one on Unipower, and Unipower looks like it has some potential. With that project, there's Load.network is another one I'm looking to do a video on here pretty soon. There's some of these new projects that are coming up. All of them have some different aspects to them, I think, that have some really cool ways to earn money. So, but if you're looking at some of the passive income projects that I feel have the most opportunity, I pretty much have one on IOST, which is PowerMine. I have one on Tron right now, which is Tron Chain. And I don't necessarily have like one that's in my top 5, I would say, on Ethereum. It's such a crowded space, and there's not really one clear-cut favorite with Ethereum. I guess if you were going to pick one, I guess you could pick Hex, but Hex just kind of pumped, just recently. But there are like three or four that I really like with Bitcoin. So these ones, probably people would look at them as a little bit higher risk, but CashFX has been one that's been around for a long time. A lot of people were skeptical when it first came out. They have a lot of new up and coming plans with the things that they're doing with that platform. So I feel like that one is a really good one to to have a small holding in. And so like that, along with Mirror Trading, Final Mente, Passive Expert, and I've gotten into a couple other ones that are maybe have a little bit more risk, like Watford Corp and Mining City. The thing with Mining City is like you're mining for their token, and their token has gone down quite a bit in value, the Bitcoin Vault token. Watford Corp, I'm still looking more into that one, but that one looks very promising as well. If you're looking for one that's a little bit less risk, that doesn't pay out as much, that's the other one that I put in my Bitcoin category, which is Bust-A-Bit, which is the first crash game that's been it's a very simplistic site, has a lot of volume, has a very loyal community, and just being involved in their bankroll, you have the ability to earn a pretty decent amount of money. But it's not paying out necessarily as much as some of these other ones. So with Mirror Trading, with CashFX, with Final Mente, you have the ability to to ROI, and maybe anywhere from like a 2, 3 to 4 to 5 month time period, somewhere around there. So I'm getting to the point where I'm going to have I want to build up, slowly build up those accounts and kind of see where those go. So I think those are pretty good. Final Mente is probably the one of all of those that's paying out the best. Perhaps maybe that has a little bit more risk when you're comparing some of those, but you do have a faster ROI. So that would be something to take into consideration. I think Final Mente is one that I'm going to start compounding into that. I don't think it would take a whole lot of money for me to get to a point where I'm making $100 a day in that project. And so that's why I want to start building up some of those. Mirror Trading, I think, is probably the most reputable of those projects that I've looked at, and so that's why I put that at the top. I like the ranking, the way that I have those structured is probably how I would, right now how I'm viewing those. I mean, I have Bust-A-Bit at the bottom. That's probably it's the lowest paying, but probably the most secure and most stable. Mirror Trading being the most reputable. I think CashFX has a lot of potential, has shown a significant amount of history. I mean, they just do what they say that they're going to do. So that one has been really, really good. It wouldn't take a whole lot for these, for me to make $20 a day in each one of these platforms, And I think that's going to be my next goal, is to build up all of those with the money that I'm making in these other projects, to be able to do that. Once you get to where you're making $300 a day, you're making 100K a year, and you know, in places, you know, like here in Asia, that you can live pretty well on that. So and then some of the other trading projects, which I haven't had time to get into these as much, because that's one of the things that I really talk about, you know, that is the focus of my channel, but I haven't really gotten into that as much as I'd like, is the trading aspect. And once I have a little bit more funds to work with in trading, I plan on expanding quite a bit more in that. And Catbot, with what Keith is doing with his Bybit bot, is doing really well. There hasn't been a whole lot of people really talking about that. There's really no one doing videos on it, and even Keith. But they do have a pretty niche community, and the guys that actually are providing the most amount of money, that are kind of in like the whale group, because he has it broken down in a couple different groups, those guys have been doing really well with this. So it's an automated trading bot that is working on your behalf and is putting in trades on Bybit based on different market conditions. And they've set that up now that where you can also trade on Ethereum, Ripple, and EOS. And so, like, the idea that I had was to have a little bit of money in all of those and have the Bybit bot working in the background. I got into OctaFX. It's not open to U.S. citizens, or because I should say U.S. residents on that one, because I have that because I'm not a resident of the U.S. and I'm not in the U.S. Or I guess no, it is U.S. citizens. No, yeah, because I have that set up with someone else. Anyways, they have copy trading on there, and so I put in like a few $100, and I copied 2 different traders, and they both didn't do very well. One of them got liquidated, and he just left. He was doing really well. Just his account was consistently growing, and then I don't know what happened. He got liquidated and just quit. There's another guy that I was following that has a bunch of different accounts, and he didn't do very well on the one account that I was in, and he reinvested, and I didn't, and he built that account back up. But Adam Hull is in that, and he's been doing really well with it. Tiwi's in it. He's been doing really well. So it kind of depends on who you're following and trading. And Forex doesn't have as much volatility necessarily as the crypto markets. So some of those traders do pretty well. So when I get a little bit more money, I'll probably put in there and find some different traders to follow, some guys that are a little bit more consistent. I'll see how some of the other guys do. But those are some interesting ones. Probably, if you're a U.S. citizen living in the U.S., it's maybe not something that's going to work for you. But there's a few of those Forex sites out there. I got into another one where, because I was not a U.S. resident, I was able to register on that one, but I haven't quite got into that one yet. But yeah, that's kind of an overview of all of the projects that I'm in. There's a lot of DeFi projects, DeFi tokens that are coming up, all the time. Like the Uni one was one that came out of nowhere, and that one looks really good, based on the reputation of the Uniswap exchange. As far as yield farming, that's the one that I'm going to be monitoring. I'm going to be looking for resources. If you guys have some things that you feel I should take a look at, there's just so many options. There's like literally thousands of options now when you're looking at yield farming, and so I feel that there's going to be a way to aggregate some of that. I think one of the ones that I really am going to focus on is probably Grow, because they're going to be kind of basing a lot of stuff that they're doing on some of the top protocols, and I feel like that one's a really trusted, secure way to go moving forward. But I'm going to be looking at some of these other ones. Like, I'm really interested in the ones on Tron. So just the ones that are paired with the Just token, with the Sun token that just recently came out, and some of these new protocols. If it's not Jackpool Finance or Pearl.finance, I'm sure we'll probably see a few more new ones that'll come up. And I'm hearing rumors of different things all of the time. So I'll try to keep people updated on the things that I'm doing and where I see some opportunity. But I think that building up a little bit into these passive income projects is a good way to go right now. So, anyways, that's just kind of my rant. I think I'm gonna end it there. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Be sure to subscribe to my announcements channel. I just started that recently, but I'm going to be doing an update on that on Tron Chain for those that are interested in getting into the chain that we've done. I think that's maybe one of the best opportunities, like, you know, right now. And then if you're looking at some other projects that you want to earn some passive income in, I mean, some of the ones that I've got in my list, I kind of have them ranked, you know, based on you know, the blockchain, whether it's IOST, Tron, you know, Ether, Bitcoin, as well as you know, some of the you know, I have them ranked just kind of like where I see the opportunity right now. Some of the ones that are, you know, aren't paying as well, I have those towards the bottom, but those are, you know, definitely not ones that I would sleep on. Like I would say D-Live BTT staking is like one that comes to mind. It doesn't pay very well, but that's one that I want to build up, you know, slowly over time. Because you know, if you're bullish on the BitTorrent token and D-Live and a decentralized, you know, video service, that could be a really good one. So, anyways, appreciate you guys staying online. Feel free to send me some of your comments, messages, or some of your thoughts. Other than that, I will catch you guys in the next video.